All right, fellas, let's go ahead and hop into this run on the Infinite Dragon Ball History event. But first...
Trunks! この先を見ろ。まだ見ぬ敵を。宇宙最強。お前が誇り高きサイヤ人の血を引く者ならば、俺の息子ならば、誰にも負けることは許さん。俺、超えてみせます。目の前の敵も、父さんも。
So this is a relatively easy no-item run. Now, I meant to complete all of the missions in one fell swoop on this stage. It was a slight miscalculation. What I decided to do is I decided to bring along Kaioken Goku, because I seldom get to use him, and he actually does fit into the 200% leader skill. So he's on Bond of Parent and Child and Battle of Fate. And I just really wanted to bring him along, and then along with this Namek Goku, right? So he fits into the 200% leader skill. So I think if I would have taken either one of those units off of the team, I could have easily just thrown on Future Gohan. It's just easy, right? Future Gohan, along with the Teen Trunks, they foderize everything, right? Now, Future Gohan can take a little bit of damage against Cell Max, but if he gets his full damage reduction built up, right, Future Gohan's he's an easy shoo-in for this team, and I should have brought him. It was a slight miscalculation. So, but anyway, guys, as I talk about that, let's go ahead and prepare for this next entrance animation.
トランクス、お前は赤ん坊の頃から一度も抱いてやったことがなかったな。抱かせてくれ。
なんだよパパ、やめてよ、恥ずかしいよ。
元気でな、トランクス。
Now that Vegeta, he was a unit I was definitely not keeping off of the team. Let's go ahead and talk about this team. So I think, let's go ahead and start from the top, right? We'll go ahead and talk about Trunks and Vegeta. LR Trunks and Vegeta. So LR Trunks and Vegeta, they are the hype, right? Like, they are everything that everyone thought that they were. So they are one of the best defensive units in the game. And as the fight goes on, they can definitely shell out some very, very nice damage. But what makes them so good? Let's just go ahead and talk about it. So number one, their entrance animation. +2 ki and an additional 70% defense on top of their start of turn. I believe it's 140% attack and defensive buff. So on top of their big defensive stats, they get this extra defense and this extra ki. And they're guarding for the first 5 turns. So really, really, really nice. Now, they can guard beyond turn 5 if you leave them in slot 1. So they are, in essence, they are like a slot 1. They're a true slot 1 character. And those are so rare in the game that it adds this sense of just like extra value onto this unit. It really, really does. They can be really good in slot 2 and 3. I mean, again, for the first 5 turns, they guard in any slot, right? You can float them around until you get your rotation set. Oh, by the way, to get that to activate, you have to be on rotation with another bond of parent and child, which, hello, is very easy to do. Pretty much any Trunks, pretty much any Vegeta, or any Goku and Vegeta unit, pretty much any Gohan or Goten unit. Like, there's so many units that fit into the category, right? The only way that you wouldn't get the entrance animation and that extra guard ability and 2 ki and 70% defense is if you were running like a full Future Saga team and you got on rotation with like 2 of your Goku Blacks or something like that, or, Vegito or something of this nature. So, but anyway, we get the entrance animation. They're really, really good, right? So that's just kind of one of the facets that makes them really good. Now, you combine the guard ability with their ability to stack attack and defense, specifically stack defense, right? It really adds to the effectiveness of this character. Just being able to stack defense and guard. I mean, y'all know this is what Carnival Goku does. This is what Tech Ultimate Gohan does, right? And they are amongst still some of the best units in the game. You know, almost 3 years into his life, Tech Ultimate Gohan is still relevant. It's incredible. That does not happen, right? So guard units are special. You look at a unit in the past, like Int Janemba and some of these units of yesteryear, that just hold up for long, long periods of time, and it's because of that guard ability, right? Being able to essentially be your type advantage against everyone, right? It really does make a difference. Now, on top of all of that, in slot 1, on top of the guard, they're getting an additional 70% attack and defense as the first attacker in a turn. So any defensive stat you see, slap on an extra 70%, and that's kind of their true defensive stat. So all of those defensive stats you're seeing from this unit, you know, late into the red zone fights, late into the, you know, the long event fights, you know, the legendary Vegeta events and such, long into those fights, you see these big defensive numbers, you know, 400 or 500k defense, slap on 70% in guard. You know, it just makes them impervious to all damage. On top of all of these things that makes them so good, they have an active skill, and it gives them guaranteed crits. And they're launching an active skill after having stacked attack for several turns. So to get the active skill to go off, you either need a full Future Saga rotation starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle, you need to be 50% HP or less. So it's not the best active skill condition in the world. However, you really have it when you need it, and that really matters, right? For sure. It's similar, kind of, sort of, to the 7th year LRs, where you can get their active skill in their transform states. You can get it when your HP is 50% or below. You can actually get it when the enemy's HP is 50% or below as well with the 7 years. But that's, you know, again, that adds to their effectiveness. But anyway, with their active skill, they're getting a big, massive attack. The animations are just simply tremendous. And again, I've mentioned this in my last video, man. This is definitely a moment, definitely a unit that is worthy of a Dokkan Fest LR. So anyone who thinks this unit isn't hype, that's fine. That's up to you. You know, everyone is entitled to their opinion. But in my opinion, it definitely is. It's such a great moment in the show. The Future Trunks arc, minus the last, like, episode and a half, was tremendous. I mean, that was probably, other than the ending of the Future Trunks arc, that was the best arc in all of Dragon Ball Super. And I don't even think it's close, man. Tournament of Power is great. UI Goku's great. Dude, that Future Trunks arc is just so good. It's just, the story is so compelling, right? I love the time travel aspect of it. And the true despair you feel from, you know, Zamasu and Goku Black, right? For sure, for sure. So, I love that arc. Really, really good. So, with their active skill, they're getting guaranteed crits. And then every subsequent attack, you are getting a guaranteed crit. Oh, by the way, they can triple super. By the way, they're building up defense and crit with every attack they receive. So these abilities, man, just make this unit the best in the game. I mean, really, all of the hype that you've heard about this unit, I really feel like is true. So I really wanted to hone in on the Future Trunks and Vegeta. They are really the star of this team, and they're the star of any team they're on, pretty much. So they make all of the units on their team better. So when you're running the Vegeta and Trunks team, it's who am I running on rotation with them? Because they are absolutely 1000% holding down slot 1. And I really feel like they're going to be good for a long time to come. Again, we talked about Tech Ultimate Gohan, Int Janemba, and these types of units with guard. It's just like, they're going to hold down slot 1 for a long, long time. Maybe you could say after the 8th anniversary. We don't know for sure, but maybe you could say after the 8th anniversary. Maybe their effectiveness won't be as much. But again, you know, they're still going to have... They're still going to be able to guard for the first 5 turns. You know what I mean? Like, it's really going to be tough to age them out. You know, particularly when people start pulling dupes and such. Like, you're going to be able to dominate every stage in the game. Every stage in the game. Regardless of what 8th anniversary brings, I feel like Trunks and Vegeta, I feel like they're like the easy pick to, like, take on any event, right? Cell Max, any of the red zone stages, anything. You know, any event you want to really bring this unit. So, Trunks and Vegeta, crazy. I guess we can talk about the rest of the units on the team. I really just wanted to kind of laser focus on them for a little while. So I decided to run my Trunks and Vegeta on rotation with LR Vegito Blue. By the way, I think this Trunks and Vegeta, at the time of recording, I think this is when I had them at 55%. So this is a 55, practically all level 1 Lynx version you're seeing on screen. So just bear that in mind, and I don't remember what the friend is, to be honest. So, but anyway, I'm running them on rotation with LR Vegito Blue. LR Vegito Blue, man, he, on this team, so he does fit onto the 200% leader skill, right? Because he is Future Saga and Battle of Fate. He's good. Like, his stats are good. He can stack attack and defense. He's just, overall, like, he's really good. He has start of turn attack and defense. He's stacking attack and defense on his 12 key. He's greatly raising attack and defense on his 18 key.
オラは別に正義のヒーローでも何でもねえ。けんどな、仲間を傷つけるやつは許さねえぞ。
He's building an additional 50% attack and defense from doing super attacks from his passive. So you're going to see for the first few turns, he's going to build up very quickly. Again, especially on this 200% leader skill, he builds up very quickly. So LR Vegito Blue, man, he's solid, dude. He is a very good free-to-play unit. I mean, here on Global, he probably is the best free-to-play unit that we have. I would say without a shadow of a doubt. So the rest of the units on the team, so we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and talk about UI Goku. We just saw his active skill. Now, for as much shit as I've ever talked about UI Goku, in a situation like Infinite Dragon Ball History, he's going to be just fine, right? There's not really going to be any bosses that can like one-shot him per se. So even if he doesn't dodge, there's the 30% chance that he does get hit by any given attack. When you really think about it, you know, 70% chance to dodge, when you put it that way, it sounds really, really good. But when you think he's got a 30% chance to get hit, if you kind of think about it in the reverse, it's like, well, you know, he probably is getting hit the appropriate amount of times. It's like you figure if you're getting attacked 10 times, he's going to get hit by 3 attacks, and one of them is bound to be a super. He just seems to do it to me every single time. Every single time. He'll dodge the normals and get hit by the super, or he'll get hit by like 5 normals in a row. And it's just the way that it goes, right? But he is still effective, you know, with a 70% chance to dodge. Builds up defense as he dodges. See, he gets hit there and it's still double digits. Like, you're fine, you know what I mean? Again, in a stage like this, you're okay. So UI Goku, still very good. He's nowhere near like a top 10 unit anymore, but he is still, you know, very, very good. So I think assuredly it's kind of wild to think, but like, you know, 9th year anniversary or something is probably when we're looking at his ECA. Kind of wild to think about, but probably that's when we'll be getting it. So decided, I mentioned early in the video, decided to bring along STR LR Kaioken Goku, who again fits on this 200% leader skill, of course, on the Battle of Fate category, along with Bond of Parent and Child. So remember that Battle of Fate category is basically any climactic battle. Like the ending climactic battle is what fits into this category. And that is anime exclusive, right? And remember, you could say anime or manga, but we don't really get too much from the manga. So this would count towards Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, right? Because, for instance, the LR Super Saiyan 4s are on the Battle of Fate category. So they fit into the 200% leader skill of Trunks and Vegeta. I did not bring them along. Dude, they fit in so nicely on that team. Having to only run one of that unit, the LR Gogeta unit, is so good because you don't have to surround them with a ton of, like, you don't have to have like 100 GT units on your team and drag your team down. You can just like bring them along and like they're just kind of along for the ride. You can float them around, keep them on rotation, whatever you kind of want to do. You know, they don't have to be. Again, you're not weighing down your team with like a bunch of like middling GT Gokus and shit just to activate GT and Saiyan Roar and this kind of thing. So, but anyway, the rest of this team, I brought LR STR Kaioken Goku. He's just like an overall like good, at this point in the game's life cycle, he's just like a good floating option. If there was a very tough, let's say we got like a grade 8 Vegeta red zone or something, he would be absolutely top tier. Getting his entrance animation, he's able to hit these attack numbers that are just beyond anything you've ever seen, right? Harder than almost any other unit in the game. He hits so incredibly hard when he's up against a Vegeta. But when he's up against other units that aren't named Vegeta and he doesn't get his entrance animation, he's still really good. He's dishing out, I believe I have mine with 1 dupe, level 10 links. And you're basically getting no links active with him. You know, maybe you're getting like legendary power active or something like, but he just doesn't have a ton of links with. He links up with the version Z Goku very, very well. But he's like a shattering the limit unit, which is kind of a bummer. But again, he can just do it on his own. Again, with basically very minimal links active. He's hitting, in this run, he's hitting like an 8 million attack stat. He's got around 400,000 defense, which is good enough when you're against opponents not named Cell Max, you know what I mean? Or not named Int Omega Shenron or something like that. Like, he does very well for himself, and he can do it by himself. He's just kind of like a floating option at this point, until we get a really, really, really tough Vegeta boss, for sure. So he's really good. He fit in quite nicely on this team again. He gives himself ki. He changes ki spheres as well. So oftentimes you're not really struggling to get his 18 ki at all. So also brought along Namek Goku. Namek Goku, he kind of has flown under the radar as being one of the top EZA options in the game. Namek Goku is very good, dude, particularly when you can get that guard to activate. So you've got a rotation of LR Vegeta and Trunks, and then if you've got a rotation of them and then Namek Goku when he activates his guard, dude, that rotation is like impenetrable to damage. Like, yeah, they'll take some damage from Cell Max. He's kind of like the exception to the rule. And yeah, you know, they'd take some damage on a, you know, AoE Broly, you know, before they super attack or something like that, but you know, you get this guy stacked up enough. He's shelling out an 8.25 million attack stat. That's no support, by the way. He's just kind of shelling that out with ease. And it's just kind of crazy, dude. And he's stacking defense on this. And he can guard. And, like, he's really good, dude. Like, he's a top 2, top 3 EZA unit in the game. I don't remember if he guards here, but I even type disadvantage. I'd wager we're fine, right? What do we take here? We actually do take some damage there. I mean, that, again, I would still consider that pretty good, considering he hasn't really stacked up a whole lot, and he didn't activate his guard. However, I'm not really sweating it because we can get this beautiful active skill animation that's coming up basically right now. So let's go ahead and get this active skill from Vegeta and Trunks.
俺は諦めない絶対にこの通りだトランクス俺の力よこの世界の人間の盾になれみんなの願いをこの一撃に込めるサイヤ人人間の底力を侮るなよ食らえギャリックホートランクスやったなはい
Whew, that gives your boy goosebumps. So, didn't get to talk too much about Int Majin Vegeta. I'm going to do his own video. He is incredible on this Vegeta and Trunks team. Getting that extra 30% damage reduction, being paired with one of the best units in the game in Vegeta and Trunks, it makes for a very, very good rotation, particularly when he can create those Int Ki spheres, right? So, that guy is really, really good. This team is very good. Slap a like for this video. Look at that. Didn't get that last one, but what are you going to do? Again, I did the same thing, but just threw on future Gohan. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.